Okay, I see you there. Yeah, and this is another one. You are in the glitterverse. So if you not ready for the truth, then you might want to keep scrolling fake news. With that said, we talking about women who equate men with oxygen. Now, girl, let me just say, before we get too deep in this, I always like to issue disclaimers. This is coming from a place of love, but people who love you need to be able to tell you the truth. And some of you like to blame men for all the problems in your life. Or you like to try to hold men responsible for every issue in the relationship. And that is just not the truth of the matter. First and foremost, a lot of you don't know how to differentiate a man from a grown male. I'll say that again for the cheap seats in the back. You don't know how to differentiate a man from a grown male. Just because he has 3 legs and a bad attitude doesn't make him a man. You need to learn to differentiate first and foremost a man from a grown male. Now, in dealing with a man, and I'm talking about a good man, a bad man, a lying man, a mama's boy man, a man that bounces a basketball for a living, a man that carries a briefcase for a living, a man that drives a 3-wheeler for a living, a man that pushes a Buick, a man that pushes a Bentley. All men, no matter what their financial status is, no matter what their societal status is, we all, each gender has a place. The man has a role to play. The woman has a role to play. However, for a lot of us, we do not understand our role as women, not in the relationship, but in the structure of the race. In the structure of our race, we have to understand our role and stop equating our worth with the perception of a male lens. A lot of us do that and don't even realize it, and then we want to be upset when we aren't fulfilled by that connection. Well, were you truly playing your part in that connection, or were you trying to become what you thought your role was supposed to be? You have to first identify the collapse. A lot of you don't even know how to identify that. You are a woman going about your business, your life, you meet a man, and then all of a sudden your life shifts. It becomes different. Your mind, your personality, your likes, your dislikes, and interests all now become his. You was just a Falcon football fan when you was dating Aaron. But now you dating Henry, you a Commanders fan. You loved going out and dancing with your girlfriends and eating dinner. But now all of a sudden, you can't go out with your girlfriends because he doesn't think that you should. You understand what I'm saying? You have lost your own individual identity within the relationship. You have become, instead of it being 2 individuals, it has now become 1 unit. However, in most cases though, when women do this, the man doesn't change at all. And you can't blame the man. because you have slumped yourself, your life, into his. And he kept on going with the same likes, dislikes, mindset, and opinions that he had when he first met you. Then you start renting emotions. Your happiness is now based on his validation and his presence. How will he feel? Will he be happy about seeing me do this? Shouldn't I run this by him to see if I like this? Would this make him happy, or would this make him unhappy? It stops being this makes me happy, so I feel like I want to do this. It constantly becomes a we. But again, most of the time, it is just you becoming French. You're the only one in a relationship speaking French. And he's still saying I, but you're constantly saying we about everything. And then when your needs are not met, you want to blame him for not thinking of you. If your whole emotional foundation rests on his validation, is that really his fault? If you're being honest with yourself, is that really his fault? Unless he has told you that that is a requirement in the relationship, you volunteered that. Now you're putting the cow before the milk. You're in the household doing everything. You done became his mama, his caretaker, his schedule keeper. You doing his laundry, all of that. Now don't get me wrong. I am not saying there is anything with taking care of your mate and helping out. But when you are someone's caregiver, you're fully responsible for all of the things that they need to maintain their daily life. Now, if you have taken on that role and now you all of a sudden feel overwhelmed and you're 6-7 months in and you don't even have time to barely wash your own drawers because you're washing his, you're picking his up, you're folding his, you might even be delivering them somewhere. And then you look up in the mirror one day and you realize that your individuality has disappeared. It checked out a long time ago. And you were so in tune into him and what he was doing and everything that he needed that you forgot to consider yourself. And unfortunately, if you're with a manipulator or a selfish person, they're never even going to bring that up. Because most of the time, that doesn't factor in with them. They consider what you're doing good behavior, the good role of a woman or their woman, or how their woman is supposed to respond to them. Now you done start wearing his glasses. You done adopted his sight. All of your life decisions, your career goals, travel plans, dreams, and personal milestones now have to be filtered through, will this work for him? Will me taking this job work for him? Will me wanting to go on a girls' trip with my friends work for him? Will me talking to this particular family member who sometimes points out the changes in my behavior work for him? Now I might have to consider stopping doing that because that doesn't seem to make him happy. And bringing me to my last point, you have now become tone deaf to everybody except his truth. His truth is now your Bible. Everything that he says is right. Even if he doesn't practice these things in his own decision making, when it comes to you, if he says it, it's law. You no longer have a mind of your own. You no longer can consult any family member or girlfriend. And anyone who points out that fact that you no longer have an individual say, not only in the relationship, but within your life, becomes an enemy, because 9 times out of 10, he telling you that person telling you that you can't see yourself in this relationship is really jealous, because they don't have a relationship, or they want you all's relationship. You totally don't even hear the fact that your voice is still not considered, and in you repeating to him that someone has told you that you don't have a voice in a relationship, he still doesn't encourage you to speak your own mind, and then listens to what you have to say as a valid thought. A lot of us as women don't take the time to examine the mistakes that we made from prior relationships. A lot of us cannot stand to be alone because we can't stand our own company, and or society has says that a woman who doesn't have a man can't be happy. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying there is anything wrong with love. I love love, even black love, especially black love. It's a beautiful thing when two healthy individuals are coming together to work towards common goals within the same mindset of what a family unit looks like. But when you're clinging on to somebody else to complete you, you're never going to be satisfied, because can't anybody else make you a whole person. I hear people say, oh, that's my better half. Okay, that's cool. That's your better half within the unit, though. You need to be a whole already on your own, with your own individuality and your own life. And you need to feel confident enough and free enough within a unit with another person to not only be accepted as you, but to be encouraged to be better than you arrived. That person should be pouring into you, not making you surround your whole self and your whole life around them, because the only thing you're doing is losing yourself. And for some women, they lose their self completely to their forever fated to living in a chameleon type status. Whomever they're with, that's who they become. A few of the worst phrases that I hear women say that make the hairs on my body stand up. One of the worst is, the best way to get over a man is to get under another one. Okay, well, you constantly sliding under a new one after leaving the old one, never giving yourself time to heal or examine what went wrong with the first one. And you done slid under a new one, now bringing all of that anger and baggage under the new man. So you're not really over the other man, you're just trying to replace him. And then when the replacement doesn't work, he goes into your sad bag of failed men, and you slide under a new one. Each time depleting more and more of yourself and your self-worth. I'm going to take whatever I can get. That's what a lot of women say. I'm going to take whatever I can get, whatever comes. You have not set a metric of where you decipher between what you will and what you won't tolerate. You just gonna take whatever comes, and then when you get whatever arrives, most of the time you're not even satisfied with it. You complaining about it the whole time, and you're angry. But you have set that intention, so the universe is sending you what you expect. The same thing as saying all men cheat or ain't no good men. You're telling the universe, this is what I believe, so send me whatever you think I deserve. Not what I'm telling you I deserve based on the worth that I've determined for me, but whatever is available or whatever I may run into that night, that day at the grocery store, whatever. oh, I know he gonna cheat already, so I'm expecting that. And there ain't no good men anyway, so I'm just gonna deal with this one. And then I don't care what you say about me because my man like it. Again, I'm not saying there is anything wrong with being admired by your man. Everybody likes that. But when your worth is based on it, when your worth is founded in what your man likes, then what do you really know? Then what do you really know about yourself? Because if what the last man liked, it was good, then this man likes something else and it's good, and you don't have to be worried about or to feel like you need to defend yourself about anything that's said about you because your man like it. So your man's whole evaluation of you makes up you. That's basically what you're saying when you make that statement. Now, I'm just saying these things, or I just make these type of videos telling the truth to give you all a new perspective and a way to look at things from a place of worthiness, rather than feeling like you have to settle or having society decide for you what is right for you and how you should behave, or the fact that the history of women in your life have accepted these things and dealt with these things, and maybe you've only seen an example of men who cheat. Maybe you never seen a good example of what a real man looks like. Maybe you don't know how to recognize what a real man looks like. First and foremost, though, before even concerning yourself with being with someone else, how about determining what you are worth, what you want, how you deserve to be treated, and then start from there. Draw that line and don't waver. Because if you're not fulfilled, if you're not respected, if you're not heard in any connection, you're not valued. And if you stay in a connection like that, or you only believe you deserve connections like that, then you're truly undervaluing yourself. Get in that mirror and start to raise the frequency of self-love. And then make sure everybody around you is doing the same. If this video hit and you want to start to make steps towards feeling your best self, click that link below. We at Fly Girl Glitter love to encourage and help and inspire. Now, I know the truth is bitter sometimes. I know the truth is sharp. I know a lot of people don't like the truth. People don't want to hear the truth. Like I told you in the beginning of the video, this is not a place for you if you don't like the truth. But you cannot evolve and grow beyond what you constantly ignore. Well, in the meantime, stay glitzed.